Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spring Bar. Glad to have you here. I am Florida Mike, today with my co-host Joe in the OC. Joey, how you doing today?
I'm present and accounted for. It is
Hey,
a lovely, lovely warm day, not a cloud in the sky.
oh, it was perfect today too. I was just on a boat. That's why I'm dressed in boating attire.
Where's your hat, Commodore?
I was not the captain of said boat.
Ah, so you
I
were just a
was.
seaman.
I was, yes. At one point in my life,
were
that
you
is how
you were an able seaman?
well, I beat the rest of them. I was the fastest one.
I won that race. Nothing since.
uh, so, for those that don't pay attention to the titles or the posts or anything like that, welcome to episode 50. Oh, great enthusiasm.
That's all you're gonna get. That's all I can.
And happy Halloween. Boo.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Because it's Halloween tomorrow. If you're listening to this today, it's Halloween tomorrow. What was that?
That's apparently a skeleton hand's heart.
Oh, it's a heart. Oh, look at you. Showing your love in only the way that you can.
Oh. No.
So 50,
not really.
Yeah. 50 episodes. We've been doing this for almost a year, a little shy, maybe like a month and a half shy of a full year. I mean, 2 years. It's been a long day in the sun. I mean, another year has passed.
There we go. Much better.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, who would have thought though we'd have made it this far?
No one.
No.
Our tens of listeners are still astounded.
Our tens of listeners. We keep getting new listeners and subscribers, and we got a new subscriber through your review video that you did with the GMT 666.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Look at me. Creative content.
You replied to his comment. Did you not read what he said? He started it off and said, "New subscriber here. Great review."
Yeah. Well, this is what I expect.
Thank you, Mr. New Subscriber. I pay attention. I appreciate you following along.
I replied. I gave consideration and thought. I put time and effort into my responses. And unfortunately, it's the wrong kind of information that the individual may particularly need, because I have a problem. The question was, where do you find 666 watches? And I kind of found them all.
I think maybe the question might have been, where do you in particular find your, which is a very easy answer.
The answer was, initially I found them all on eBay, but now they come to me. They come to me. I'll get messages on Instagram once a week or so. It's like, hey, what about this? I'm like, oh, that's great. Let me show you mine. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about this? I'm like, I got it, need it, got it. It's a problem. It's a problem. There are a couple of persistent people though that keep throwing out that Snorkel K.
Is it still on eBay, Joe? It is cheap enough. You just buy it. You complain about the bezel. The bezel has one tiny little crack in it.
It does.
You have far worse bezels. And that is the one thing that it seems is stopping you from buying that watch. Come on, Joe. Because you know what's going to happen. That one's going to sell. You're never going to find one again for that cheap. And you'll be like, oh, I should have bought it when I had the chance to buy it. You know I'm right.
He reached out to you, didn't he? He reached out to you.
It's like, hey,
what's your cut? What's your cut? Just tell me now. Tell me now. What's your cut? The percentage is a flat fee. What is it?
I'm here for you, Joseph. I'm here for you. I'm just trying to further along your collection.
Right.
in
So
the only way I know how.
what's
Through
new?
what's new?
Yeah, what's new?
So actually have a couple of new things.
You actually
I've
have
got a
you have more than that. And we'll get into that.
I do.
You do.
In what way?
Well, they're sitting in my bedroom.
Okay. Oh, well, those are not new. You're talking to stuff that's coming back from service.
Talk
They're
about
not
stuff.
new. We've
Okay.
already talked about that stuff.
Okay.
We already
Well,
talked
you
about
have.
that stuff.
You have. I haven't.
Okay, we'll get
What
to
do you
that in
got?
a second then. I got another Jetstar H. This is the butterscotch.
Yeah. Okay.
This one, as you have said, this one fell in my lap. This one came to me.
Huh?
Yeah, I did not buy it. It was a gift.
Okay, but that one's okay, but the dial on that one's weird compared to the
So
other ones. Is it the crystal that's not as bright, or is it the dial?
no, it's the what makes it different than the other one that I have is the markers do not have the fluorescent orange paint. Other than that, the dial is exactly the way it should be, but that
Okay.
paint makes all the difference.
Okay, because it doesn't read the same way. It doesn't come the pictures don't pop in the same way. So if it's that fluorescent,
Exactly, that does not pop the same way, but that it's just the paint on the markers, which is here. It's just really, really faded.
okay.
So I did find um, like hobby paint that's very, 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 very close. So I got to go and get some. It'll be very easy to redo these markers, and it'll look just like it should again. So it'll be real nice. This case is actually in really good condition. Just needs to be replated. So when I no, but I mean, there's no dings, there's no dents or anything like that. So I can send it out for replating, and it
Everything's
doesn't
being
need to
worn
be.
off on it. It looks like absolute crap, but it's in really good
No,
condition.
it
No
even
dents.
doesn't look like crap, you know. But it'll be a good,
For a
just a
plated
wear
case,
wash.
that kind of ruins the condition in that. Oh, come on. Come on.
You come on, get out of here. Moving
Gotta
on.
be plated.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So this is not a new watch. It's a watch that we have discussed before. However, it is a new dial for this watch. So I'm referring to the Sea Stern
Oh, yeah,
Doxa homage watch, but I
yeah,
bought the Yoboki's Doxa, their version of the Aqualung dial,
yeah. That
which
blue.
makes
Now your loom is mismatched,
that's
which you
okay.
claim to like.
I like two color loom anyways. Have you
See,
seen the
I'm
Zarek?
more of a drapes matching the carpet kind of guy.
Well, that's a personal issue.
Not really.
This dial makes all the difference. It's a slightly different tint of blue than what it came with, which is fine. This is more of a robin's egg kind of blue, but it matches the blue that's in the bezel now, as they were two different shades before.
It's a better color. It's a better dial. The graphics on the dial are better.
The whole thing is a
all of
better
it, yeah.
layout, yeah. And it makes just like I said, a ton of difference. I love wearing this thing now. So this is my new work watch. It replaced the Seiko Comex. I wear it every day. I love looking at it. It's so fun. Something fun to wear at work. So
All right.
what do you need to discuss here that is new that we haven't discussed? So the
So,
watches that you were just referring to is
uh,
my blue wrist alarm,
yeah.
my Caravel World Timer, and what else did I send out to him?
I don't know. I haven't opened it.
Oh, the handsome devil, the Caravel 666.
Oh, yeah.
That weird Euro market one.
Yeah.
Those are the three that were getting serviced and are on their way back. And I don't think we talked about this. So Dave sent me a picture when he was working on the Caravel 666. It has an etched Omega crystal in it. Go figure. The
Really?
crystal itself is probably worth more than the watch.
Oh, without question. Without question.
He sent me a picture under magnification. He says, "Well, would you look at this?" And I'm like, "Okay, what am I looking at?" I didn't catch it at first, but when you look right in the center, it's got the Omega symbol
Okay.
etched in the crystal. Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
that's funny.
Well, you might make some money off of that one anyway.
So if you need a crystal, Joe, to replace anything that you break on yours, you know that you can get one from Omega and
I can
swap right
source an
in.
Omega crystal.
Swap
That's
right in.
exactly what I need for my
Yeah.
Carabel that no one knows anything about. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I
And
had a I
maybe,
had a Bulova, I had a Bulova that hit it with an Omega crystal on it, which I
well,
think.
hey, you know what? Maybe this was like a very early collab, like
Ooh, I see what you're
collab
doing here.
before collabs really were a thing. Who knew?
I think it was somebody who just happened to have a crystal that was kind of like that because I had that crown. I had it was an Omega crown, but if you turn it sideways, it looks like a C for
Yeah,
Caravel
for
that was on
Caramel.
a Bulova. Why? It was a mess. That whole thing was a mess. I have some
Yeah,
watches back from repair. I have this 666 Skin Diver.
yeah.
The problem with these is that they have no designation. No one knows what they are. They don't have a name. They don't have anything. It's like a day date.
When you get so, what is that? Late 70s or early 80s?
70. This is 77. The other one I have with the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
case, same bezel, got that stadium bezel. The
Hmm.
other was from 1980, but a whole
Yeah.
different marker set. Like this one, the markers that are on this are similar markers that have been used in a couple other models. I think I've got a Carabel with something that's real close and it has black loom or black stripe instead of a loom stripe. That's it's this weird sort of little trapezoidal thing. It's cool. It's funky.
It's
Keep a
cool.
great time.
I bet you I can at least get you a reference number on that. Probably not a name, but I can probably get you a
Yeah,
reference
I
number.
think that that's all that there is just a reference
Yeah.
number. Yeah, and that throwing out numerics, I much prefer names. So I
That's
got
better than nothing.
that came back, and then I got this Ambassador,
Oh, that's new to you, yeah.
1929. Uh-huh. It
Yeah.
came out really nicely. Yeah, so I bought the movement didn't quite go, and got a spare movement with a spare dial, and so the hands are unloomed. All the looms come out, so you can really see the cathedral. It wears. So this is like from 1928. This is nearly a 100-year-old watch, and it wears fantastic. It's so good. It fits really well. The looking at the time is great, and it also has on the backs is this space, and like you can pop into the movement, and there's no problem, right? Movement comes, you can see all of that, but there's also this space right here. Throw a picture in there. So now I just got to get a picture.
So there's a like a little plastic
Yeah, there's a cover over the
cover
movement,
over
like
that,
dust cover on the movement, and the whole thing will just come right out. But
like an early exhibition case, kind of.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's really interesting. And then I don't think we've talked about this watch, but it wasn't mine. But now it's mine.
Oh, look at what you got.
Look at that. So
Look at what you, your very own.
the Loom GMT has arrived.
And how much have you been wearing it lately?
I wear it a lot.
Every day, just about.
Almost.
You really like that. I haven't seen you so excited about a watch in a while.
I really like this one. I like it a lot. It's really good.
Yeah, that's cool. So the question is now, are you going to source the matching bracelet?
Working on.
Do you have it in the works already? Yeah.
Working on.
All right.
Yep.
I think that bracelet on there is going to be perfect.
It'll be really good, but man, I really like my glow in the dark white strap. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like it lights up the night. It's pretty impressive. So that's what I got.
You challenged me. You tried to steal my thunder, my Friday night Loom Battle thunder last week.
I did not challenge you, sir. You've been vanquished.
Oh, have I now?
There's nothing left of you. I cannot help you. I cannot help you, sir. I am simply superior in
in none of the ways.
Every way. It glows. You can see the reflection off of your hand. It glows that much. It casts shadows, for crying out loud.
Does it?
This sucker's bright, man. It's really bright.
You have to put it in another room at that night.
I have to put it in the drawer. Yeah, got to go in the drawer.
Oh,
keeps you awake.
So seriously though, how long does that glow for? That dial? Is it typical standard time?
Yeah, it's fairly standard.
Longer?
It's not like all night, but it glows. It's real bright, real fast too. So I can go outside and come back in, and it's glowing immediately. So it responds pretty quick.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
All right, interesting. I can hear the crows cackling in the background. You must have your window open.
Of course, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah. All right.
What else we got? What's on the wrist?
That's it. I'm wearing my surfboard today. This was the
Uh-huh.
most nautical themed watch that paired with what I'm wearing, so
There you go.
got that on the wrist.
As
And
opposed to your clipper. That's the name of a type of a
yeah,
sailing.
but it's not a nautical watch.
It's called a clipper for crying out loud.
But it's not a nautical watch. Called a clipper. I have watched the Jetstars. You do not see me wear them to the moon.
Well, no, because they didn't go to the moon. But if you go on an airplane, I expect you to wear at least one.
Okay, and then
Aerojet at minimum.
Aerojet, yeah, well, maybe. And I have. That's a good travel watch.
Mhm.
I'm drinking. This is who is this by?
I have no idea.
Hidden Springs Ale Works.
Well, now
This is Orange Crush.
Orange
It
Crush.
says American wheat with wildflower honey and sweet orange peel.
Oh, well, I am drinking a mango chili margarita style with other natural flavors.
Mango chili margarita.
Mango chili.
That sounds delightful.
It's pretty good.
Does that say truly?
Of course it does.
You almost had me, Joe. You almost had me.
But what? Mango chili in a can.
Truly. Come on.
Mango chili in a can.
All right.
Well, I can get some bourbon.
I'd feel better about your manhood if you did.
I'm comfortable and confident, sir. I was wearing pink yesterday.
All right. Okay. As it shall be. So, Joe, episode 50, what are we talking about for episode 50? Oh, wait, hold on. I have an announcement to make.
Oh,
It's a sad day here in the Spring Bar Studios.
sad day.
It is with a heavy heart
Heavy.
that I have to announce I am no longer the sole owner of the only complete Jetstar collection in the world. Almost, sort of, kind of. Because I have my core Jetstar collection in a box. It's a 2-floor box. The upper floor is all the pieces that are staying in the collection. And the bottom floor, the little drawer, has all the spares that I have, projects and things like that. I had one that said collector needed to complete his collection. I said, okay, we're friends. That's fine. I know you need it. I know I have a good one. I will sell you mine. Because if anybody's going to buy it, should be you. I'll share the title.
Very magnanimous of you.
However, he does not have possession of the watch yet. So really, technically, it's not a complete collection.
Possession's 9/10 of the law.
It really is.
It's true.
But at some point, I will no longer have the only collection.
But let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
I mean, no disparagement by this, but how many of those were sourced from you?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, probably, yeah. I'd have to think back. Maybe
more than one.
Yeah, might have been.
I think it's like 3.
I don't think it's that many.
No,
I don't think he's bought that many for me.
How many of them have you worked on?
Oh yeah, quite a few.
Okay,
Quite a few.
I think we're still gonna keep you with the title. First
But
document.
He doesn't have any.
First.
But the first, yeah. But he doesn't have any of the new ones. I have 4 out of the 5 new ones. So I'm,
True. Well, aren't there 6 now?
Well, yeah, technically speaking. We'll get into that in a minute, the 6th one, because that's part of our discussion coming up. But yeah, yes and no, depending on how you want to look at it.
Okay.
So all right. So moving on. What's our topic today?
We are talking collab watches, collaboration watches that are in between 2 separate entities and that are then worked out, sold by either, both, neither. There's some interesting things that come together, and there's some discussions that come up with that. So we thought it'd be kind of an interesting topic.
It's like, what is it? I was thinking about this. What is a collab watch? What makes a a collab watch? Because generally it seems to be some sort of external design influence comes together with a watchmaker, and that external influence is what designs a new color pattern or a new dial, or because they're not creating an entirely new watch, it's more of a
Well,
customization
It
of
that
an
depends.
existing
That depends
watch.
entirely upon the collaboration, right? The one that really strikes me, and that you know, you can say that it's been going on forever, because if you start looking at manufacturers, forever they were using not in-house movements. So it was a collaboration between the movement maker, between a case maker, between a dial
Uh,
maker. Right, right. Okay, so
that's stretching it.
it's not though, because at its very essence, that is a collaboration. What is the movement? What is the size of the movement? Will it fit the case that I have, or do I need to design a new case? What's the new functionality? Now I need to get a new dial. The dial is, you know, technology changes, all those kinds of things. But we're not really talking about that per se. The thing that kind of sparked this whole conversation is the new LMVH Acravia 10
Okay, you say that's what sparked this collection. I don't remember ever talking about this, and I have no idea what this one even is. So you're gonna have to explain this one to me. I
Well,
Googled
depending,
it. I think I'm looking at the watch, but I'm
you
not
are
entirely sure.
you are. It's a Rexepi has he's created a new movement. He's got, it's a sort of a smoked sapphire crystal, or dial. I'm sorry, smoked sapphire dial. There's another totally separate complication on the back of the case through the display case back,
Okay, so that's
which is
like
a
the
different dial,
stopwatch
right? So
on
it's
the
like
back.
an enameled dial that LMVH is good on. It's a Hagman case. It's, you know, it's a pretty solid watch. Like, from a spec standpoint, it's massive. Doesn't work for me. But
I
the
I
story
don't
that I like,
understand.
the one that I want to believe,
Hmm.
is that the head of LMVH couldn't get one of the new Rex Epi watches, and so he decided to sponsor a collaboration watch so he could get his hands on one. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, these are
It brings up, so you
massive.
have, right, you've got this kind of, it's a new watch, it's being sponsored by, and it's come together with all these pieces. They both worked on parts of it. It's an interesting thing.
It's I'm looking at it here. Are you looking at this yet?
I've
No.
seen it. Yeah,
It is very oddly designed.
it is.
There's it's angular, it's circular. The lugs
There's a
are
lot going on.
gigantic
There's a
on
lot
this
going on.
thing, but they're not curved in a way that would make sense. And then they
No.
have these AP hexagonal style crowns and pushers on it.
Yep. It's weird.
It's weird. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
not a
this
fan
is
of
the
this one.
question. This is the question. If you did not know who was involved in that watch, would you buy it?
If I did not know who was involved with this watch, I would think it was a $1,200 Furlan Mari.
Right. And this is where
How much is this thing? How
oh,
much is this $1,200 watch?
if you got to ask,
Does it say on the site that I'm looking here? Probably not. Let me see.
uh
Oh, it does. Limited to 10 pieces.
huh,
Priced at $497,000.
dollars or euro?
Dollars.
Dollars.
It's 450,000 Swiss francs or $490,000.
There you go. It's a thing.
Interesting.
It's a thing. So, but that got me thinking. It's like, if you start to get into that type of watch, when you're looking at like a brand new creation, the Harry Winston Opus series comes to mind, and it's got some of the, you know, the people that have gone on to become fantastic independent watchmakers and who have done fantastic things with movements and complications and finishing, all within sort of the Harry Winston realm. And so all of the Opus series were excellent watches. They all did something that was brand new. How horology, I mean, high end finishing, high end movements. apparently there's a lot of hit and miss with how accurate and how good those watches are to actually use as watches, but
Mm.
as exercises in watchmaking, they were exceptional. But this is, it's like, okay, how do we get from there down to where, you know, you and I are, where we live, which is we're definitely in, like, not even in the shallow end of the pool. We're probably in like the kiddie pool. Let's be honest.
Well, when you get down to the level that quote unquote we are, I think the collabs begin to become more fun, less
Well,
serious.
they do, and you've got all of those kinds of things, right? So you've got the Rowing Blazers collaborations that are out, and you've got the Seiko collaborations that they've done. There's a couple of others. They just have this new one with
With tag.
Tag, the Carrera, and also
Yeah.
Bamford, right? And that's really interesting. It's neat to look at. I don't know that I would own one, but they're pretty cool. And then there's the Timex and the second
Hmm.
collab, which is, you know, it's a take on the Pepsi and the Batman with
Yeah.
a straw as the GMT and the second sand with the Timex, and then the Batman and the second sand just says "pow."
Yeah. And they're cool. They're fun though. I'd
They are.
love to, and they sold out quick. You can't get them anymore. They're
Right.
gone.
Right.
I would love to have a second watch. I think those are real fun the way they do, you know, their little touch to them.
I agree. And it's a pretty solid, domesticated way, democratic way to get into that space where things are a little more interesting. Like, it's not just a normal watch at that point in time.
Hmm.
But, you know, you've been, that's entering into not necessarily a collaboration. It's definitely more of a customization type of thing, because that's just, okay, we're going to alter the seconds hand on an existing watch. And so there's not anything that's really been changed. But then you get into, there's some other discussions that happens. Like, so, you know, Blog to Watch is doing a release of a Zodiac. They've done a couple before. They've got a new one that's coming out. I believe I'm.
Are you talking the laser tag one?
No, I'm not talking the laser tag. There's a new one that's coming out.
Oh, there's another one.
There's a
What's-
pineapple of some sort. So
Oh, really?
it should be an
I
interesting.
haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen it because it hasn't been released. I believe they're premiering it Tuesday.
Okay, so give me your thoughts on the laser tag watch. What do you think of that?
I don't like the
don't
colors.
like it.
I don't like the colors. It
Yeah,
doesn't work for me. But that doesn't
do it for
bad.
me.
But it doesn't work for me. You know, and there's a couple others where there were just, you know, different colors on the straps and some like that 80s sort of thing. And
Mhm.
it's, you know, you can have a lot of fun with color palette and with, you know, specific iterations of how you make a watch. And then we're not talking like, you know, a one of one situation. This isn't like a, you know, a only watch, or even the thing that Scottish Watches did
Mhm.
last month before, where they had some one of one pieces that were just, you know, unique colorways, unique dials, you know, test dials, that kind of thing. These are watches that are going to hit production. It'll be a limited run, but it's still going to be, there's going to be a bunch of them, and it's going to be, you know, a very specific kind of thing. So, you know, that gets you into a variety of different kind of colorways. And so, like, you know, if we're talking about a collaboration watch, is it just a specific color, specific handset, or is it going to be something that I'm providing a case, you're providing a dial that's going to be totally different? It's going to be something that neither of us do. You know, you look at, it's like the MB&F and Moger watches,
Mhm.
right? And they've got a few that they've gone through, and there's some really interesting things that they've done where you're taking architecture from both brands and kind of
Yeah.
mashing it together. It's like the Pandemonium watch. It's available for only watch, as one example, you know, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So if we're talking collaboration, is that what we're talking about? Or are we just talking about, okay, we're going to, you know, make a new dial? I don't know.
It seems like a lot of again, the price point that we're at, collaborations are just changing colors of a dial or hands, things like that. It's a color palette thing.
Right.
And the addition of stamping your name on that,
Something
but
on a case back.
that seems to be about it, you know. I don't. It's hard to voice my opinion on it because in some aspects they come out really cool. If you're going to change the colors of a dial, you need to go all out and make it unique. That's why I like the Rowing Blazer watches, because they do really cool stuff. They brighten it up, they make it known. You can look at it and tell that's a Rowing Blazers watch.
So you
You
saying
have some.
you want to have something that's distinctive about it from that point on?
I think if you're going to go through the effort of doing it, it needs to be distinctive. It needs to set itself apart enough from the watch that's being modified to know that that's a special watch. Now, I'm going to give you another example here,
Okay.
the one that's near and dear to my heart. Complecto
Right.
just did a collab with Bulova using the new Jetstar watch.
Right.
Now, a couple of things about that. Number one, here in the United States, so there's 5 Jetstar watches, the new
Correct.
ones. Here in the United States, we only get 3 of those versions. We get the Stars and Stripes, we get the Merlot dial, we get the Butterscotch dial. When you get into some of the other markets, you get that black dial, which is the one that I got that came from the UK. And you also have a silver dial that comes on a kind of a plain black leather strap. That's, I think UK has it and Australia has that one. So that's the one that they used for the collaboration. So it's kind of neat that they're bringing that watch into the US market. Okay, that they decided to use that one, which I think is interesting that they were even allowed to use a watch out of US market to be sold in the US market.
It's an interesting question though, like because it's essentially it's that watch and it's just got the orange highlights.
And
And
that's the thing. It just has a couple of orange highlights to it.
Mhm.
At first glance, it doesn't look any different than what you would buy, right? You really have to look at it to see, okay, here's a little bit of orange around here, and then okay, the Precisionist logo is in orange. And then when you look at the back of it, it's got, the Bulova Complecto, it's a
Right.
limited edition, 100 pieces, engraved in the back. In fairness, it's coming with the standard Jetstar bracelet, and it comes with 2 extra straps. So the kind of the standard black strap, but it has orange stitching on it. And then it comes with a gray strap that I think looks pretty good when they're paired together that way.
Mhm.
Um, but when it comes to customizing the watch itself, they went bare minimum. Not enough to distinguish the actual Jetstar, the mainstream version of it, from the limited edition version of it.
Yes and no. Yes and no. The issue for that one comes up with the fact that it's not available domestically, right? It's not available in the US. It is 100 pieces. And so like if you want to get that watch, you got to know somebody.
Well, to be clear, the Complecto is available in the US, but what
Right.
you're referring to is the watch that they're using is not.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Thank you. So it's just that, and that makes it kind of an interesting question, interesting case. But with you and I on a collecting journey that we're on, it's not that hard to get watches from different places now. It's really not that difficult. Like eBay has domesticated that.
You
The
can
ability to
find
buy
them all on eBay right
right.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of it was an interesting choice on their side, and it's also kind of a question is like, okay, what does it cost to do that? Because you're looking at a printing cost, you're looking at a colorway, and if, okay, now we have to do it for just 100 pieces. That it's that kind of thing, because most of these collaborations, they're a limited run. There's not a whole bunch of them. It's not permanently in the lineup. It's
Mhm.
it's a minimal kind of thing. And there's a difference between, I would say, between like a collaboration watch versus a customized watch. And I think that the Complecto watch sort of toes that line between customized versus collaboration. Because there's lots of collector groups that will do is, okay, we want to work with this brand or that brand, and we're going to do a special release for our group. Members of our group can buy it, and it's available only to a select few that are willing to pony up the deposit and the down payment, and then get the whatever. The OC Chrono did one recently with Nomos, and they had I think it's a Tangent that is done with a different colorway that's not not in the lineup. So it's a different colorway that's specific for OC Chrono, and it's a nice watch. It's a good collab. It's a good color combination. Didn't appeal to me specifically because it wasn't quite orange enough for Orange County Chrono.
Hmm.
Personally, I want it to hit me over the head. But everybody's got their own little take on it. So let me ask you this. What is your opinion on the Fratello Speedy Tuesday Omegas?
I don't have an opinion because I don't know what you're referring to.
Fratello, they do the Speedy Tuesday releases. They've got a couple different, I think there's 3 currently. They've got the Ultraman. They've got their first one, which is sort of a tribute to the Alaska project, but it's a later iteration of the Alaska project. It's that kind of stuff.
Hold on, I'm looking up the article here.
Spraying this on him unawares.
Yeah,
Mike isn't keeping up with all of his reading.
I generally don't follow a lot of the Fratello stuff as you do. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right stuff. This is a very confusing article. Oh, you can click here for all background information. Okay, I'm clicking there. What is Speedy Tuesday? Well, we know what that is. The Speedy Tuesday community. Just show me a picture of the watches. Why can't I just see the watches?
Note to Fratello, if you're watching, make your Speedy Tuesday stuff easier to navigate for the uninitiated.
Yeah, really, for real. This is ridiculous. I don't know, Joe. Give me your opinion on it because I can't seem to formulate one here.
They're interesting. I think out of the ones that they've done, I think the Ultraman is a little more interesting to me completely just because of there's Easter eggs and there's some hidden stuff in it. And they took an incredibly niche watch that they chose to kind of re-release and do some things with. There's like a 1010 release also. There's some which is just a sort of a rally dial.
I'm looking at the Ultraman one here. How is this any different than the actual Ultraman? The second hand has got a little black stripe down the middle of it.
And if you throw a black light on it, you can see a profile of Ultraman in one of the subdials.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
See? It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
All right.
The first one was just the way they did the subdials, and it was a stepping on the subdials and made it more like one of the Alaska Project watches. It's that kind of thing. It's this little tiny detail that only really solid Omega fans are going to get, which makes it a really interesting collaboration because you are speaking to a very specific collector group,
Mm-hmm.
So that's another question about it. It's like, okay, is that a collaboration or is that just, we're going to be ordering something? We're ordering off the menu, basically.
Look at that. You can see that's the loom.
Yeah. It's cool.
Huh. Yeah, look at that. Okay, well, that's pretty neat. I'll give you that one.
Right. So, but is that a collaboration or is that something else? What do you call that?
Yeah, that's a collaboration. The Easter egg thing is differentiating it from your standard watch.
It certainly seems like something Omega would never do on their own.
No. This is them putting their touches on it in a way that's outside the norm. And I think that would make for a good collaboration. I think that makes it unique enough. And some of these just aren't unique enough.
So I think that like the hot take would be let's push you outside of necessarily your comfort zone. Let's do something that is not within the design language of the brand.
Well, yeah, I'll agree with that because I've said many a times before that modern watch design is very bland, very cookie cutter compared to where they came from, the 60s, 70s, touching into the 80s a little bit, where they thought very much outside of the box. So collaborations kind of bring that outside of the box thinking back to modern designs and just spice it up a little bit.
Okay. Okay. I'll go with that.
And
So,
that's what I like. That's what I like.
so moving on though, we can also talk about it's a similar idea as collaboration, but it's also kind of this licensing, character licensing. Biggest one I would say would probably be Snoopy. So you've got Snoopy licensed watch. Snoopy is licensed as an image to Omega, and they use it through the Speedmaster line, right? You've got Snoopy up there over your shoulder, gazing off into space.
Yeah.
Timex has done stuff with Snoopy as well. I think there's been a couple other brands. You've
I
got
have a Snoopy Q.
right, all the Disney licensing, which
That goes through Citizen.
well, currently, but it's also been through Bulova, it's been through Gruen, it's been through Loris.
Yeah.
You know, there's so I think that licensing, the company gets a limited run of it, and then it's open to other bidders. Then you've got the Star Wars stuff, and there's been a variety of those. There's the Marvel characters, and there's been a variety of those up to and including AP with the Black Panther and then the Spider-Man current releases on those, which are.
What do you think of that Black Panther watch? There's a lot of people that didn't like that.
It doesn't bother me. I was watching
I was watching
the Houdinki episode with John Mayer and Ed Sheeran, and they were talking about the Spider-Man
I
watch.
haven't seen that one yet.
Okay. Well, there's this fantastic bit where they're talking about the watch, and then they show a picture of the back of the case back, and Spider-Man's feet are sticking out of it, right? Because you see him in profile, and he's in mid leap, and you turn it around, and you can see the feet for the backside of the leap. It's
Really?
it's a cute little touch. I didn't know that was there. It's like, okay, cool, that's cool. So, I mean, there's licensing that goes with that. Who else is there? Oh, who knows? Probably a ton of different characters, and we're going to license the character to this watch company to do whatever. So, is that a collaboration, or is that just?
I was just going to say, are you hinting that that's a collaboration? I think that's a little outside of what a collaboration is.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be a collaboration. I don't know if I would call it that. I think that if you're just throwing a character on the dial and you're putting a colorway that kind of works with that character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Special edition.
Yeah.
Maybe call it that. I don't know.
I mean, I'm good with the idea of a character watch, but the things that I'm more attracted to would be like a Bob's Big Boy watch, or a McDonald's watch. Those are
okay.
Those are way more interesting to me than say a Snoopy or something like that. Something that has a direct marketing tie-in versus a character that's just sort of been slapped
so
on.
If Second did a fast food series collaboration watches with Omega, and they just had like the rotating arches on there,
maybe
that would do it for you.
That'd be a little bit better, but it'd be more interesting. It'd be more interesting. Well, you've seen like the Heinz watches where it's got the ketchup.
No,
you haven't seen those? Oh, you got to look for those. Oh. Those are great. Those are great. It's got this rotating sort of ketchup bottle as the second stand. They're pretty cool.
Okay,
I'm a fan. So that's kind of the question. Like, you've got this idea of collaboration versus this idea of we're just going to license the character, which is a different deal than you also got. We're just going to slap something on the dial and hope that it works. I think that when it's done thoughtfully, it becomes a really interesting thing. I think that when the sum of the collaboration makes something that's greater than the components, it's much better than if you just slap something onto an existing watch and try to get away.
So, along the lines of that, who benefits or who should benefit from a collab? Is it the outside source that's being brought into it? Are they the ones that are meant to reap the benefits from it, or is it the watch brand looking to reach out to bring somebody in to kind of spice up their brand name a little bit? How does that play out?
When you start talking about this idea of designers, that's kind of where you're going with this, right? It's like, does the designer play a factor? Like we talk about Gerald Genta, right? But Gerald Genta wasn't a name prior to his.
But he wasn't collabing with brands. He was selling designs to brands.
Right. It was.
I'm talking like I'm talking like the Second Seconds, the Rowing Blazers, the Bamfords, where they're creating new ways of making these watches pop. Like who's reaping the benefits of this?
Oh, the brand is without question. The brand is because you've got somebody else that's playing with their palette. I think that
See,
I think that for me, the idea of a true collaboration watch is going to be two people coming together and doing something completely new and different. There's the idea that what I think it was Kari Voutilainen who worked on the Zenith Observatory movements. So these were strict movements. It was a Zenith movement that had been finished relatively roughly. It wasn't a fine finishing on the watch, but the idea was to take the movements to the Neuchâtel Observatory trials, and they had 10 movements, and they won. So it was like these were the most accurate in whatever positions, and then throughout the whole trial. And then Zenith's like, okay, cool, had them in a box, put them in a cabinet, didn't touch them, and they got him out, and like, let's do something, but who should we do it with? And they brought in Voutilainen, they brought in his manufacturer, so he created a case and a dial and a handset that harkens back to Zenith watches from the time, has Zenith on it. I think it only has his part on the back. It's a really interesting watch. Zenith benefits from it, but they've got this whole. It's a fantastic working together of two fantastic brands, but it's a Zenith watch that he's just essentially assembled and redone the movement on, did some fine finishing on the movement. Interesting idea. Really interesting idea.
it's an interesting conversation. And I think it's one that's going to get a lot of different opinions on it. And I don't necessarily think that any of them are wrong.
It comes down to what you like, and if you don't like it, is it wrong or is it just not for you? I got to go with it's just not for you. It doesn't
It's
mean
just not for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not for you.
All right. So is there any one that you
hold-
want? Any particular one that like the second seconds? Yes. What else?
Um, gosh, I'd have to think about that, I guess. I don't really know. I think the Second Seconds are probably really appealing to me because they're just so out of the box. Their hands that they use.
Yeah.
I like that. And whatever, watch that they're on. I mean, they're on so many different brands. High end, low end, you name it, they've done it. Um, Bamford, I find what they do very interesting too. They and I don't know if they fall into the customization box or if they fall in the collaboration box, but whatever you want to call it, I really like what they're doing.
All right. Well, there you go. I guess that's what you would have. Fair enough.
Do you have any?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No. There's just not anything that kind of sparks my fancy, I guess. But see, I'm not a big customization guy in general. And collaborations, like, I like the original design kind of across the board. And we've talked about this before, is in terms of like pizza. Just make your own pizza. I screw that up, man. Omelet bars. Oh, it's a problem. Pizza. Me trying to design a watch, that would go poorly, very, very poorly. So I leave that up to people with a better aesthetic than I have.
That's fair.
You've seen the way I dress, so obviously
your design would be one of one by lack of sales.
yes. Yes. That would be about right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even buy
it. Yeah. Really quick.
What do you get done and be like, ooh.
Yeah. What do you think of the Rowing Blazers Carrera?
I think the colors are muted. I think the colors are really muted. I think that it's an interesting design. I like the concept of it. I think the execution is excellent. I think that the color choice that they did, I understand why they did it. I understand why it works. I would have gone a totally different way and it would have looked like crap.
That's fair.
right? It's not for me. It's like it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but I wouldn't wear it.
I'm with you on the muted colors, but I think I like that they used a lot of color in it. So I can get past the muted colors with the use of the colors.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. It would be something that I would wear.
Well, yeah, but you live in Florida.
Mr. Miami.
It's right up there in your whole palette.
It would be, according to Watches with Oliver.
Indeed.
Yeah.
He has an opinion of your life, and that shirt doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you also
he might be right.
The Spring Bar logo that you designed is right up there with it, by the way.
That is true.
It's got those.
Oh man,
colors.
maybe he is onto something. Holy cow!
You have an aesthetic and you didn't even know.
Look at that. I know. Well, if we ever do a Spring Bar collab watch, it's going to be, bright pink and green and
on a black dial. Yeah, I know exactly what it's going to be, and I won't own that one either. Oh, it'd be great.
Man, I tell you what, though, that would look pretty cool, though, wouldn't it?
Okay.
You know what? You know that I designed something fairly recently here. I'm going to do it in our colors and send it to you and see. It's going to be very easy for me to change the colors of that and see what that looks like. Oh my gosh, that would be cool. I'm picturing it in my mind right now. It's fantastic.
Oh wow. No, none of that's good. Okay.
Oh, right. You say that. You would wear it.
Yeah. Once.
If at the, around the 6 o'clock somewhere it had our logo on it, you'd wear it.
Oh,
in our colors. He's crying. Joe's crying.
Oh, man. Wow.
Oh, that's great.
All
right. Before I
gives me
I know. Last calls, Joe. What do you got? Anything?
I got nothing. No. There was an event.
Really.
There was an event at the Queen Mary for Longines that I didn't quite get to, that I'm a little disappointed in. But there's supposed to be an event up at Feldmar that you and I visited for a blog to watch and a Zodiac release that I think I'm on the list for. So I gotta.
Oh, is that for that pineapple thing you're talking about?
Get a confirmation on that, and I'll see if I can get some pictures, and we'll post those up into our channel. So that's
you have to go wearing your Spring Bar shirt.
I don't think it's that kind of event.
Be part of the press. You get special press access.
I think they won't let me in because have you seen the shirt? It looks just like the logo. Go to Miami.
What's wrong with that?
Go to Miami.
I designed it, Joe. Of course it's going to be good.
This is LA.
Yeah.
West Coast. Best Coast.
The shirt needs to be made out of hemp cloth and designed in green and beige.
Organically sourced.
Yeah.
Artisanal. Made by the finest Chinese child labor.
Made with vegan fibers.
Right.
Weird Californians.
Well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I got nothing either. I really don't have anything. I've just been preoccupied with a lot of other stuff lately. So that's that.
LIVIN. Living.
Yeah, pretty much.
No. Cheers to you.
Thank you, sir.
Indeed. That's all we got. How do they get in touch?
So this evening, Joe, you and I, we make up the Spring Bar Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can email us because it does work, thespringbarpodcast@gmail.com. If you leave any comments on our YouTube channel, I will remind Joe to reply to you. On a personal level, I am 120 clicks, all spelled out, one long word, 120 clicks. Joe?
I am Watch Taylor Youth, all one word, Watch Taylor Youth, EUPH. And yeah, we got a YouTube channel. We're on Spotify. We're on every platform we can possibly get on. Find us. Leave a comment. I might reply.
And we can't, yeah, you might reply. I'll remind him. Don't worry. We can't forget KC. He is time.hack1672 something or other. I'm not
36.
entirely sure. I know, he always butchers my name, so I'm going to butcher his. time dot something, whatever. He'll pop up eventually. Just click on the right one, you know.
Time.hack1636. You can find him as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Ah,
All right. Are
That's
we? Are we? Oh, so let's tag us in Halloween pictures. How's that sound?
Halloween pictures are good.
Halloween pictures, orange watches, Halloween pictures.
What watch
Something
you
like
wearing
that.
with your costume?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Perfect. Perfect.
Until then, cheers.
Cheers.